Federal government halts 141 grain trucks amid driver threat of strike following attacks. Family of 7 killed in Benue attack. Police thwart kidnapping attempt in Katsina, successfully rescue victims. On the forums in South Africa urges use of force to break Israeli blockade of Gaza aid. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's news update. I am Chiamaka Malfo. Thanks for joining us. Now the news. In continuation of measures to address the food inflation and cost of living crisis, the federal government on Tuesday said it had so far intercepted 141 trucks attempting to smuggle grains and other staples to Niger Republic, Chad, Cameroon and the Central African Republic. The Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Bashir Adeniyi, said the service had within 2 weeks arrested about 120 trucks smuggling food items from Nigeria, while the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission stopped 21 food trucks from leaving the country on Tuesday. While the CG was disclosing the measures being enforced to ensure food security at the House of Representatives in Abuja on Tuesday, truck drivers who have been targets of attacks by hoodlums had threatened to declare a strike if the situation persisted. Several trucks and warehouses, mostly owned by manufacturers and other members of the organized private sector, have come under attack from hoodlums as food inflation and cost of living crisis in the country spiraled. Last week, some youths stole food items from trucks stuck in traffic along the Kaduna Road in the Suleja area of Niger State. On Sunday, hoodlums attacked a warehouse belonging to the Agricultural and Rural Development Secretariat of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, located in the Day area of the capital city, where they looted rice, grains and other relief items. The miscreants in their numbers also stormed another warehouse in the Idu Industrial Estate, Jabi, Abuja, but were repelled by the troops guarding the facility. Suspected herdsmen on Tuesday afternoon killed no fewer than 10 persons in Azande community in Ukum local government area of Benue North Senatorial Zone, but residents of the area put the figures at 30 or more. The caretaker chairman of Ukum local government area, Victor Iwaza, who confirmed the incident, said he has directed a divisional police officer of Ukum to deploy more men to the troubled area to prevent further killings. Ukum local government area, which shares boundary with Wukari local government area in Taraba State, has been under attacks from suspected herdsmen. The Benue Police Command said it was yet to be briefed on the attack. The Katsina State Police Command on Tuesday foiled a kidnapping attempt, rescued victims and recovered one operational motorcycle from suspected bandits in the state. In a statement on Wednesday, the spokesman of the State Police Command, ASP Abubakar Sadiq, said the incident occurred at about 6:30 p.m. after a report was received at the Kankara Police Divisional Headquarters that some suspected armed bandits attacked motorists along Bauri Village Road in Kankara local government area. He said upon receipt of the report, a team of operatives stormed the scene, engaged the suspected bandits in a fierce gun duel and forced them to flee. Sadiq quoted the State Commissioner of Police, CP Ali Abubakar Musa, as commending the officers' outstanding displays of bravery, dedication and professionalism. Musa said efforts are on top gear to arrest fleeing suspects, advising members of the public to promptly report anybody seen with a bullet wound, as most of the suspects escaped the scene with gunshots. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, has attributed the present food scarcity and attendant price increase to smuggling of food across Nigerian borders and the Naira redesign policy. The minister, who spoke while appearing in the sectoral debate organized by the House of Representatives, also identified flooding, which destroyed farmland across the country, as another impediment to food security in the country. Here's the report. According to the minister, the president has directed the ministry and all those responsible to do everything possible to mitigate the suffering of Nigerians by ensuring enough grains are made available to the people. He, however, said that currently about 5,000 tractors are working in Nigeria, adding that the country should have 72,000 functional tractors to meet the growing needs of Nigerians, while the ministry has signed an MOU with the manufacturer to supply 2,000 tractors annually for the next 5 years.
We also, in 2022, I would like to downplay that, but it was a fact that the policy of the Naira redesign had an impact on the local rural farmer who didn't have access to cash, and at the same time was under cultivation around the September, October, when they were harvesting their produce and they need to pay their farm hands, and cash was unavailable. And even way to the time of 2023, last year, February, March, when they were just about planning to have to plant for the 2023 both dry and wet season, cash was also not readily available.
The Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Bashir Adini, said the service has commenced the sale of seized food items to vulnerable Nigerians to address hunger across the country. The Customs Boss also added that the service has arrested about 120 trucks smuggling food items from Nigeria to other countries, noting that the President has given a directive that the arrested trucks be diverted to the local markets in the areas where they were arrested in order to force down the process of grains and other food items.
We are currently in an operations all over Nigeria, which has resulted in the seizure of over 120 trucks across different border stations and border areas in the country. So, because we are in a state of emergency, we have received the directive to implement some kind of restrictions on the exports of critical food items, particularly grains. And this is what we have been implementing in the last 1 month to ensure that we have local self-sufficiency.
Earlier in his remarks, the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, said given the pressing issue of enhancing food security and agricultural productivity, Nigeria must acknowledge the growing concern surrounding food insecurity, despite the vast agricultural resources at the disposal, including over 80 million arable hectares, where only 34 million arable hectares are actively being cultivated.
Honorable colleagues, our collective effort must focus on addressing both demand and supply factors along with the persistent challenge of food price inflation. Through thorough analysis, I have identified 4 critical levers for improving food security: increasing per capita consumption, raising production yield, curbing food price inflation, and reducing reliance on food import.
He said collective efforts must focus on addressing both demand and supply factors, along with the persistent challenge of food price inflation. Still staying with the Green Chamber, the chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Justice, Olumide Oshoba, has recommended safety measures for the well-being of children on the internet. Now, Oshoba said this while declaring open a public hearing on a bill for an act to provide for the enactment of Child Online Access Protection Bill 2023 and other issues of online violence against the Nigerian child and other related matters at the National Assembly complex on Tuesday. Here's the report.
Recent efforts by the House of Representatives indicate a growing concern for protecting children from various online risks. Part of the measures is for parents and educators to do everything possible to protect the children from falling prey to internet pedophiles. This legislative focus reflects a broader trend towards addressing the challenges posed by children's online interactions, emphasizing the need for proactive measures to ensure their safety in the digital realm.
The bill will serve as a comprehensive framework to counter the many threats to our children. The bill includes measures to establish strict criteria for age verification on social media platforms, ensuring that children cannot access age-inappropriate content. It also mandates schools and educational institutions to incorporate digital literacy and online safety education into their curriculum, empowering our children with the knowledge and skills to navigate the internet world.
Representative of the Speaker of the House, Usman Bello Kumo, said the bill is seeking legislation to ensure all hands are on deck to protect children from being harmed or exploited, adding that they must be passed for the future of the children in the country.
The digitalization of the child online issue cannot be overemphasized because we are in a digital world. And Nigeria, as one member of the Committee of Nations, cannot live in isolation. And therefore, we must key into the global best practice. And our children must not be exposed to an extent where some people take advantage of them in abusing their rights and their privileges.
Stakeholders like the FIRS, NCC, Human Rights Commission, the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, Nigerian Data Protection, and UNICEF all noted that the safety and well-being of the Nigerian child in this digital age should be one of the nation's utmost priority.
We must not lose sight of the fact that in most cases, it starts online but ends up physically. So we must have that at the back of our minds. Otherwise, we miss the point. It doesn't start and end being online. Now, we also need to ensure that service providers, especially the internet service providers, all that have been provided under the bill, have a responsibility and mandate an obligation to take down.
Laws like the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act are in place to safeguard kids under 13 years online, emphasizing the importance of legal frameworks to protect children's privacy and security. The call by the House of Reps is for a national standard that ensures comprehensive protection for all children, as well as highlights the importance of coercive measures to safeguard children in the digital space.
Moving away from that to health-related matters now, health authorities and residents in Nafada communities are at odds over the number of meningitis cases recently. While the government reports only 5 deaths, locals argue that figures are much higher. They claim the government's count overlooks those dying in remote villages. Trust TV's Hassan Kohli visited Nafada local government to report on the situation.
The first case of meningitis, initially labeled as strange disease, was reported on February 18 in Nafada local government. After sampling, it was confirmed as meningitis. While authorities reported only 2 cases last week, residents believe the numbers are higher and urge the government to intervene to stop the spread. Dalladi Maliki, who lost 2 children to meningitis within a week, shares his heartbreaking experience. I tragically lost 2 children to meningitis within a week. Initially, medical personnel attributed their death to malaria, but I suspected otherwise, witnessing numerous funerals in our neighborhood, suspected to be meningitis-related, reinforced our fears. We urgently appeal to the government for assistance in combating this disease before it escalates further. Last Friday, the state government confirmed that the strange disease in Nafada is indeed meningitis. They assured the public that necessary measures are being implemented to address the situation before it escalates into a major outbreak.
We got 2 cases from Nafada local government that were positive for Neisseria meningitis, and therefore we have cases of Neisseria meningitis, which is a strain that causes outbreaks in this meningitis belt. For us to declare an outbreak for meningitis, we must get at least 10 cases out of 100 in a 100,000 population within one district. Therefore, we are at a low threshold, so we need to do mitigation measures to prevent further spread and to halt it at this level without going into major outbreak.
The state government urges vigilance among residents asking them to promptly report any symptoms of meningitis to aid in combating the deadly disease. This proactive approach is crucial, especially considering the high mortality rate in neighboring Yobe State. Hassan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
This is a news update on Trust TV. Up ahead. Nigerians divided on growing public looting phenomena. When we return, please stay with us. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. And if you're just joining us, it's a news update on Trust TV. A recap of our top stories. Federal government halts 141 grain trucks amid driver threat of strike following attacks. Family of 7 killed in Benue attack. To other stories, the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria says Nigeria cannot expect reasonable solutions to issues bedelving the nation until leaders summon the political will to address the issue of corruption, no matter who is involved. President of the Council, Sheikh Abdul Rashid, disclosed this at the annual pre-Ramadan lecture in Kaduna State, northwest Nigeria. Here's the report.
Islamic scholars across the country gathered here for the 2024 annual pre-Ramadan lecture in Kaduna, which seeks to prepare the minds of Muslim faithful towards the holy month of Ramadan. President of the Supreme Council of Sharia in Nigeria, Sheikh Abdul Rashid Hadiyatullah, advised Islamic clerics not to use their pulpit to preach insightful message that will destabilize the peace and unity of the country.
In these challenging times, it is crucial that we uphold the principles of peace, unity, and understanding. We should preach against resorting to violent protests against the government and strive for dialogue and constructive engagement with government to address our concerns. Islam encourages us to seek solutions to problems with our leaders through peaceful means only. Violence only begets more violence.
The senior special assistant to the vice president on political matters, Hakim Baba Ahmed, enjoined Muslim Ummah not to shy away from the truth in the month of Ramadan.
So if you are a cleric and you feel you should side with the government, the people already know and you lose their respect. If on the other hand, you want to play with the gallery and incite people and say things that will inflame passions, encourage people to take the law into their hands, you will not tell them that when a Muslim breaks into the warehouse or stores the lorry on the road and takes rice and flour, it is not theft in Islam. You will not tell them not to break the laws of the land because Allah will judge you by what you do, but not by what you think is right.
The Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badari, used the occasion to appeal to Nigerians to pray for the present administration to enable it to address the challenges facing the nation.
I'm sure this is the message that they have been sending, as you have heard from him, that we should continue to pray for our country. We shall know whatever hardship we receive is from God, and God in his infinite mercy will see us through. And if we are doing things wrong, we repent and go to the ways of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will certainly help us and make life really easy for us.
The lecture is, among other things, to ensure the realization of a stable Muslim Ummah, as well as a country that is economically, socially, and politically viable. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Nigeria is currently experiencing a surge in looting targeting public food warehouses and private truck supply chains. Those involved justify their actions as a means of alleviating the impact of high living costs. However, this trend raises concerns regarding both moral and legal implications. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail looks into the moral implications and legal interpretations surrounding the looting of food items in both public and private domains, which is emerging as a disturbing trend nationwide.
In recent days, Nigeria has witnessed a surge in incidents involving warehouse break-ins
looting, and food truck hijackings by individuals claiming to be addressing the effects of the current economic hardship. The recent wave of looting in the Nigeria's capital, Abuja, has left residents concerned, particularly amid escalating food prices and a deepening cost of living crisis. Many residents have mixed feelings about the moral justification for looting as a means of accessing palliatives, reflecting the complex and divisive nature of the issue. The vandalism of warehouses is detrimental. It tarnishes our image and exacerbates our already challenging circumstances. Instead of resorting to vandalism, we should heed God's call to pray for relief, as such actions only compound the existing problems.
At least the masses, the leaders are there for us, to fight for us, but they are keeping us hungry. So that's the reason. I'm not blaming them, but it's not the right thing, but I don't have anything instead to die.
While opinions vary among Nigerians regarding the moral justification of looting to alleviate suffering, activists argue that the current situation in the country has caused the urgent need for those in power to address hunger and poverty, which are the primary drivers behind the recent wave of looting.
It is very, very important that the government rises up by what they are seeing every now and then in the street. You can even imagine the Federal Capital Territory, a situation like this happening here. No, it's very, very discouraging. So the government should rise up.
While some Nigerians have rationalized access to public food store in warehouses, legal practitioner Agbo Francis maintains that there is no justification for vandalism and looting of government or private stores.
Is that the law is as it is, as against what it ought to be. It is immaterial that you are hungry or you have not eaten for some days to justify your act of going to vandalize, to remove what does not belong to you. So whoever, whether they are 200 or 100 or 50 or 30, who went and climbed the trailer or went inside the warehouse and removed those things, it does not belong to them. It is not their own.
The Vice President has, in a stern message to Nigerians, called for the need to protest grievances in a responsible manner that does not violate laws. To prevent further breakdown of law and order, governments are urged to refrain from stockpiling food while the masses suffer, opting instead to distribute these items to provide relief to the people. Additionally, governments are called upon to implement sound policies aimed at improving the economy for the betterment of the nation. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Moving away to the foreign scene, South Africa's Minister of International Relations, Naledi Pandor, on Tuesday said countries should use force to break Israel's blockade on aid getting into Gaza. Pandor was meeting his Danish counterpart in Pretoria. The two leaders discussed bilateral ties and Israel's war on Gaza. In a case where South Africa accuses Israel of committing genocide in Gaza, the International Court of Justice issued a series of provisional orders on civilian protection and deliveries of humanitarian assistance, which have been ignored by Tel Aviv. More than 576,000 people in Gaza, a quarter of the population, on the brink of famine. According to the UN, Israel has been accused of targeting aid deliveries in recent days, killing hundreds of desperate Palestinians. Still staying with South Africa, police have taken 4 people for questioning over the disappearance of a 6-year-old girl 2 weeks ago. The search for Jocelyn Smith has transfixed the country since she disappeared outside her home in Saldanha Bay near Cape Town. On Monday, 300 naval officers joined rescuers from Cape Town, a dog unit and drones in the desperate search. 2 men and 2 women have been questioned over the disappearance. A child goes missing every 5 hours in South Africa, but most are found. On Saturday, investigators found bloodied clothing in an open field in the area where Jocelyn disappeared on 19th February. Frantic community members searched sewers and pits in the days following the girl's disappearance. 100,000 rand reward has been offered to anyone with information on her whereabouts. She was left in the care of her mother's boyfriend, Jaquina Police, when she went missing. And in sports, Alex Iwobi has won Fulham's Premier League Goal of the Month award for February. Iwobi's dramatic winner at the Old Trafford was massively voted for by his Fulham fans. His international teammate Bassi scored the curtain raiser for Manchester United in the thrilling contest. Bassi was also nominated for the individual accolade after receiving a pass from substitute Adama Traore. Iwobi's impeccable touch sent Amad Diallo and Diogo Dalot out of blocking range before giving Andre Onana the eyes and placing an effort inside the near post. The 7-year-old duly garnered 7.2% of the fan vote. And with that, we've come to the end of the news at this hour. For more news, program and documentaries, please do also follow us on all our social media platforms. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. On behalf of the news team, thank you for watching.